As you know, I've been using Inside Tracker for a while now to optimize my performance and recovery. I actually just got a test leading up to the Open. Inside Tracker has helped me learn that I'm more susceptible to high blood pressure, and based on my blood work, they recommend I switch from dairy milk to almond milk, which has helped with inflammation in my knee and overall. Do you want to reach all your strength goals and all your life goals too? Do you want to feel healthier than you've ever felt before? You may need to make a change, and that's what Inside Tracker is all about. Inside Tracker analyzes your blood, DNA, and recently added the ability to sync with your fitness tracker to create one-on-one science-backed action plan to help you reach your potential for a better than ever performance and longer, healthier life. For a limited time, Inside Tracker is offering 25% off its Inside Tracker plan plus free inner age. Just visit InsideTracker.com/Froning. Start using Inside Tracker today because change is an inside job. We've been using it for a while. I think I've done 4 tests. It's pretty cool too with the app. You can go on there and just check where your blood's at on the last test and see what recommendations there were to fix those things, but you can also really see where your blood, there's a graph on there and it shows, kind of where you're at. It gives you green, yellow, red. If you're in a good spot, it's green, yellow. You're kind of need to work on it, and then red, you need to have somebody check it out. So pretty cool. This episode is also brought to you by AirWAAV. AirWAAV is a performance mouthpiece that has been scientifically proven through peer-reviewed, published research to increase endurance and airflow, increase strength and muscular endurance, and improved faster recovery times. Now, you're probably thinking, wait, a mouthpiece, how can mouthpieces make a significant difference? That's normal, we get it. But there has been a significant amount of research over the last 40 years that have studied and confirmed the benefits of using a mouthpiece and clinching during training with regards to strength parameters, muscular endurance, ventilation, cerebral blood flow, and the blood flow to your noggin, people. Now, what the AirWAAV mouthpiece does that sets it apart is that it is a patented bottom fit design mouthpiece, meaning you mold it to your bottom teeth, and it's designed to help direct your tongue down and forward. When you gently bite down, it creates an optimal airway opening. And if you're like me and need some hard data, here's where it gets good. Use of the mouthpiece in test subjects found an 8% increase in the diameter of the throat and 9% increase in width. There was also a 51% reduction in cortisol 1 hour after high-intensity exercise. And when used during a steady-state run, the AirWAAV mouthpiece resulted in a 28.5% reduction in respiratory rate compared to before the mouthpiece was put in. Really, honestly, I started wearing it because I wanted to protect my teeth. Got super comfortable with it, especially when I first started doing strength sessions. But I actually do notice a difference and feel, it just gives me something to think about as well during Metcons. So I actually get a little stressed out when I don't have it. I actually really enjoy it now that I've been using it. Been using it for about 4 or 5 months now. Super consistent with it the last 2 months. And I really enjoy it. So the science is there to back it. But, I like to, base it on feel, I guess, and I feel better with it. So check out AirWAAV and get you one today.
There was an infomercial on TV last night that was going for 30 minutes. And when I'm cooking, I just put noise on in the background. So I wasn't paying attention until 10 minutes later. I'm like, this is still on. It was for 70s hits.
Oh, yeah.
Music from the 70s, the greatest hits. And it was just singing all these songs.
70s gold?
Yes. And then it was 5 payments of $19.99 for 30 CDs. And I said, thinking, who still buys CDs? And then I'm like, it is 70s
People
hits,
from the 70s.
right?
Yeah, 100%.
It makes a lot of sense now that I think about it.
The one infomercial that I love is the one where it's some sort of sealant that you can... It's like a rubber coating.
Flex Seal.
Yes.
Flex
Where the guy goes in the boat.
Yeah.
And takes a screen door in the bottom of the boat and then Flex Seals it.
I still want to buy some Flex Seal. I don't need it for any reason, but I want some.
Or have you seen the one with the power washer where it sprays the driveway and it just gets so clean? That's one I want too.
100%.
I don't even have a driveway.
I was about to say, to power wash what?
The driveway. Not mine.
You can come power wash my driveway.
I don't have a
driveways, just power
Mine's
wash
gravel,
away.
but I'll just get it anyway.
The ones I hate are the ones for sunglasses. Where they like
sunglasses.
they try to make it like a military thing or like a
Shooting glasses.
Yeah. I hate those.
I'm trying to think of any other. I don't remember any.
I don't know. I'm always sold though. They do a great job.
I know.
I'm like, maybe I need this contraption.
So I was looking at
Definitely.
Instagram and an ad pulled up yesterday, and it looks like a disc, a giant thick disc about this big, and then you twist the top, and it falls out in like a chair.
Oh,
And
that's kind of cool.
So you can carry it, put it on your shoulder, put it in the back of the car, pop it out, and it falls out of this big kind of plastic chair, and you can sit on it.
That's like such a dad thing to have in your trunk.
I
disc
tried to
chair.
buy it, but this is what I do. I'm like, I'm going to get one. All right, I'm going to do it. So follow the damn thing all the way to the, and then it wouldn't take the credit card for some reason. I know there's nothing wrong with the credit card. I'm
yeah.
like, huh? You screwed up. That's it. You get one shot at my money.
I'm to the point now where if it's not Apple Pay, I'm like, all right, I'm out.
Yeah.
I won't put my stuff in there. I'm like, it's not Apple Pay?
Yep.
Sorry.
Well,
I actually did just buy something off a commercial thing like that.
What?
Have you guys
What?
heard of birdies? I told you about it. So instead of like pepper spray, because I can't be trusted with pepper spray, it's this, when you go around by yourself, it's this little keychain that's this big, and if someone tries to attack me, I just pull it out, and it has like a really loud decibel. It's like bing, 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 and shining lights. So I just pull it out, and then whoever my attacker is afraid and runs away.
What?
Do you think the sound will really scare them?
You live in Cookville.
They
Yeah.
well, just okay. So what I really want it for?
And when was the
Sometimes
last
I go
time you
hiking
left
by
Cookville?
myself. Fair, but sometimes if I go out like to hike for like a sunrise or something, I get so freaked out by all
Yeah,
the
that's
sounds
good.
when I'm by
That's
myself that not that the loud sound's gonna really help.
Can
me.
I ask one question, though? Why do you not trust yourself with pepper spray?
Okay, I have a pepper spray, and I've yet to take it with me because, well, one, I'm around small people a lot of times, so I don't want like little children, you know. That I
Let them learn.
don't want the. Oh no! And two, I heard that if I spray someone, I'll get affected too.
Well, if you spray it on yourself, you would. Here's what you need. It's
mace.
what are those called? I bought one for both the girls when they were little. It's a little stun gun,
Like a little taser.
a taser, and you can get them. They're not very expensive, and you put them on your keychain. And here's what happens: when you trigger it, it's zapping.
There's a little precision
you show
there.
that to the person, and then all you have to
Or
do
you
is touch
zap
them.
Yeah.
It has two little probes on the end of it, and if you get them with the probes, they get
I've
the jolt.
seen
We
Yeah.
had one of those in high school, and we used to tase the crap out of anybody that fell asleep early. Feel bad for.
Does it hurt really
Oh,
bad?
I'm not
That's
really
gotta-
bad.
Not
It more like
permanently,
stuns
but-
your leg. I mean, it hurts. It's the most terrifying thing about it is how loud it is.
They're
It's-
Yeah.
really loud. Yeah.
And that's why it's a deterrent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
my
So
burden.
maybe it's like a sound and a painful.
But it will actually do something, unlike the little light
The
that you're
light's
talking
gonna
about.
at least
Yeah.
frighten them. It
Yeah.
won't hurt them.
When your attacker's like, he's like, oh, that's awesome. Like, oh, you're creating it.
Okay, you're making me feel like it wasn't a good buy.
It's not a good
Because
buy.
I bought it for me and like a bunch of my girlfriends, so everyone's gonna have
I
one.
think you're
You want
on.
one.
Yes, I can't wait.
You get
Oh,
us
she's
one?
setting the mood.
Can you get me and Jim one?
You guys don't want a chirping like? I think you're on point with the pepper spray though, because one of my friends in college, we were all in the dorm hanging out, and I had pepper spray on my keychain because I would run at night sometimes, and he takes it off and
So you
thinks
just
it'd be
run with your pepper spray in your hand?
yeah. You just
Oh wow.
finger on the trigger,
That's
ready to
legit.
go. I mean, you have to like twist it and then like whatever. Anyway,
There's a safety on the pepper spray.
he was like, "Oh, this is hilarious. I want to see if it works." Okay, so he sprays it in the trash can,
Oh, no,
but like the
bad idea.
mist it gets up on his
sure.
fingers. We literally got steaks out of like his whole face was just like, and he didn't even spray it like not even towards himself, nothing crazy, just like blew up.
Yeah, but you don't like spray it and hang out.
I agree.
Like when
I
you're
thought
defending
I-
yourself, you spray it on someone and you
Yeah,
run.
no, it was not a good
That's fair.
decision.
You go away. You run.
Well, now I've got both. So.
Taser. Tasia. Get a taser.
I don't think I need a third
Taser.
contraption for my
I like that
Cookville.
you're concerned about your safety. You know,
Dan has a pretty good story. He had bear mace. He was hiking,
bear
and
mace.
he somehow fell into a snowdrift, and dropped into the snow, and the bear mace got pulled,
Oh.
and just like sprayed him in the face.
Oh, shoot.
He said it was awful.
Like
That
how
sounds
debilitating! Like, could he like die in the cold? Like,
I don't know.
can you even see after that?
He's still alive.
I actually did have this question of the loud shining light and noise. Would that scare away like an animal, you think? Or make it more angry?
No, it's scared away.
It's,
for sure.
it's a
Unless
good,
it's like
it's a good deterrent.
unless it has rabies in it. It's like a rabid.
So if a bear comes after me at any point,
There's no, well, I mean, you got probably one bear in this county.
I don't want to
Find
risk
the
it.
one.
And I can almost guarantee it's not going to attack you.
He's not over by your
Not
house.
a grizzly bear.
Well, if this thing saves me one day.
I don't know. That one bear video we watched a couple times was pretty
grizzly
rough.
bear,
that
I'm telling
was
you.
that
Don't
was
mess with
nasty.
grizzly bears.
That like goes running at you guys saw it, right?
Yeah.
Goes running at them.
I don't think I've seen this.
It's the most terrifying thing.
Yeah, you
Really?
probably don't need to watch it. You'd be terrified.
It's a grizzly bear. It's not a black bear.
And it goes running at a person.
No, so what they did was they re-released it back into the wild, and when they did, they had
funny.
just like a GoPro camera set up. And the funny thing is, like, they back up, and you see this. It looks like a Jurassic Park truck because it's in this cage. And you see this door start sliding up, and this bear takes one step out, and then like 3 steps, and this camera is probably 30 yards away, and it gets to that camera in less than 2 seconds and just mauls this camera. But you're like, oh,
yeah.
Like he knew.
I don't know, he was just
I don't
pissed. He was pissed
Can you
that he was in there.
imagine going out that way though? Because
No.
that bear is going to eat you alive.
Yeah.
So it's not like going to be over quickly.
I've seen The Revenant.
Didn't that happen to one of the
Revenant,
like
yeah.
guys that lived in the woods?
Yeah, like some dude who was like
Like
a
not
weirdo,
the,
crazy guy, thinking he was studying
not
bears.
the British one, but the other
Yeah.
guy. Not Bear Grylls, obviously, but it was
Yeah, and then they ended up killing him, and it got caught on his GoPro.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
The
remember
footage.
that.
what was his name? It was
I don't know. It doesn't matter now. He's dead.
Yeah, kind of like sidebar, but what about that guy that punched a kangaroo?
Punch a Kangaroo.
Have you seen that video?
Yeah, it was a funny video.
And the
like,
kangaroo-
they're like
Save his
standing up boxing, and it's like, he's like, bam! And the kangaroo's like, what the hell was that? Seriously, it's pretty funny.
It wasn't it to save his dog?
Yeah, like the kangaroo went after his dog or something.
Kangaroos boxing is a real thing though. Like
They
at
kill
night,
you.
like you just see them like they're in the woods.
They'll
They're
kill you with their feet.
Kick, right?
like nuts.
I saw a guy go into a lake to save his little dog. Like a Florida guy went into the lake, grabbed hold of the alligator,
Yeah.
took the dog out of the alligator's mouth.
God.
I've seen that.
Just this old guy in a wife beater just goes walking down the water to get save his little corgi.
And he saved him, right?
He did.
Yeah.
He pried open the alligator's mouth, got the little
I don't
dog
know, but
out,
he
put him
must
on
have-
the shore, and then walked out of there.
I'd
Like,
have been
not
like,
today.
Corgi, it's your time. I'm sorry.
Not today.
What's the trick? There's something with alligators because the amount of pressure they can exert down is like impossible compared to our strength. But there's something you press or do that.
You're from Florida. We don't know.
The top of their
This is
nose.
true. I
Isn't
feel
that
like-
the shark that you
Let's
hit?
see,
Punch him in the nose.
That is sharks.
And that makes them go.
because they have so many. They're
I hate
what's
to
it
admit
called?
it, but
It's
I love that we're giving all these poor facts that are based in
Completely false. Do not listen to us if you are
Yeah.
that type of.
No,
everything
this,
we
I'm
need to have a
saying
disclaimer.
Is
Yeah.
just my opinion.
yeah.
Oh, Chase told me a joke
an
yesterday
idiot.
too, and I can't remember it, but it was about
I don't know
gorillas.
anything. I'm not recommending you go punch any kangaroos.
I didn't realize that gorillas don't eat meat. He said something about like if you want a body like a gorilla. I can't
You say it
remember.
like that too.
Like a gorilla. Like a gorilla.
Well, apparently they have a special enzyme in their stomach, but that is a terrible joke because I didn't relay any part of the
You
joke
just
whatsoever.
Butchered that.
Yeah, all I know is that they eat fruit and have a special enzyme in their stomach, but it was supposed to be a joke at some point.
I heard a podcast the other day where they're talking about chimpanzees and how territorial they get. Mm-hmm. And this lady has a chimpanzee that she's too close with.
Oh yeah, it happened a couple years
okay.
ago, and it like
His face.
it messed her up, right?
No.
Well, and so she has a friend over, and basically the chimpanzee rips her friend's face off because it
No.
gets jealous.
Why would if
should get
my
wild
friend had a
animals.
chimpanzee, I'd be like, hey, are you okay?
Yeah, for sure. Well, she's crazy because she was sleeping with the
Are you
chimpanzee.
okay?
Like this
How do
gets.
you get a chimpanzee to start? What's step one?
I don't know. I guess you get on Amazon and order a chimpanzee. No.
We went to the like horse sale thing in Cookville a couple weeks ago because Hillary wanted to go look at miniature ponies and all this crap and
Yeah.
take the kids.
Yeah.
They have a little sidebar room that you're not allowed to take photography of, and you walk in and I was like, I'm getting out of here. Like there was some like kangaroos were in there.
Oh no.
Some other small animals that I was like, nope,
Nope.
monkeys.
Yeah.
There were some monkeys in there.
Yeah. They're
And,
like 4 times stronger
I
than
will
humans.
not be back here.
No.
Yeah, I don't feel like that's. I'm not doing.
I
that.
do want a miniature donkey. I don't know why, but
Get
I want
one.
a miniature donkey.
Please.
Okay.
That'd be
Put them out
cute.
there with the horses, you know?
Yeah, that's
Little
a good
gray,
idea.
Those little gray miniature donkeys. you
Oh,
remember?
that would be
You should
so
get goats.
funny.
I wonder what their temperament's like.
They keep coyotes away.
Do they really?
Little
Bison do too,
donkeys.
so.
Plus, they're just really cute.
Would a
'Cause, like-
coyote attack a
What?
a horse?
Yeah, but it would get kicked the crap out of probably.
It'd have to be really hungry.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, jeez.
And it'd have to
Really
be a
starving.
pack of them.
Yeah.
But I don't think they could take it down a horse, honestly.
Okay, good.
We had Shetland horses
I hate
growing
those
up, and
I hate
everybody
those
thought they were
tiny-
so cute, and they
What
were
are
the
they?
meanest
I
animals.
hate those.
Those
What's a
mini horses?
Shetland?
The Shetland is a small
And
horse.
see, I think they're the
a-
most ugly things on the planet. I'm just like, what's the point of that?
It didn't matter who got on it; it would immediately go for the barbed wire fence to try to
Really?
scrape you off. 100%.
What?
Grown adult, get on it. It didn't want you on the back, and
No.
it would go right for the fence, smart, and try to scrape you off on the barbed wire.
Poncho does that.
Did it really?
You lived that.
Really?
Just throws
So a little
What?
donkey.
a
That'd be
person
cool.
off.
That'd be
I
cool.
don't know why.
We should have one.
That would be cool.
I don't know why.
I think it's a good idea.
Yeah.
When we were biking the other day, the horses were running with us. It was awesome. I was like, I feel like I'm in like a Majestic movie.
That way I literally could ask you, how's your ass?
How's my ass?
Oh,
See, dad jokes.
that is a good one.
I
That's
get it.
funny.
Donkeys. I don't know about donkeys.
I don't either.
Mules, donkeys, I'm confused.
There was
Once,
mules are a horse and a donkey
Okay.
mixed, and mules can't reproduce.
okay.
Oh, I
And
didn't know that.
but a donkey is a pure
ass.
A pure animal. A pure ass.
Fun facts.
Those are good facts.
About
Oh, a
animals.
mule is half ass.
Half.
Good job, Tasia.
I didn't do it.
You
I
did.
just set it up
You did. That
on
was good.
accident.
That
So
was good.
speaking of, tell us about the pheasants.
They're dead. They're all dead.
All of them.
Oh my gosh.
All of the pheasants in South Dakota are
They did.
dead.
We killed a lot of pheasants. We killed our limit every single day.
Was it fun?
Oh, there's a limit.
You have a limit 5 per day. But as like a group of, so we hunted in groups of 7, 2 subgroups of 7 and a total group of 14. So what we would do is usually we would hunt in our separate groups for probably an hour or 2, and then we'd come together for the end of the day and do like a bigger push. Man, it was so much fun. It wasn't really pheasant hunting, it was pheasant shooting.
Yeah.
It's incredible. It was so much fun. Thunderstick Lodge in Chamberlain, South Dakota. My second time to Chamberlain, South Dakota.
Really?
Wow, you've been there twice.
First time was when the RV broke down.
Oh, nice.
Swore I'd never go back, and then
You
Matt
did.
was like, "Hey, we got this hunt lined up. It's like the best pheasant lodge in North America or in the world. You want to go?" And I was like, "Heck yeah!" He's like, "I'm like, where is it? Chamberlain, South Dakota?" And I'm like, "Oh no,
Already been there.
I'm not
I
going
refuse.
back." It's beautiful though. The landscape actually is like, it's kind of rolling hills out there. It's right on the Missouri River too.
Wasn't it cold?
Yeah, what's the climate like?
So it was like it's probably 50, low 50s
Oh.
the first day, and a little bit of wind. Second day it was like 40s, high 30s, low 40s, and super windy because the storm was coming in. And the last day there was like 8 inches of snow on the
Oh.
ground, but there was no
Dang.
wind. So it
Wasn't
was
bad.
It was awesome. And the second day, first day we hunted for probably 4 or 5 hours. Second day we hunted for like 2.5 hours and killed our limit in that 2.5 hours. And then got out of there before the rain started. We had one bird left to kill that day to get our limit, and he was like, "We can go comb a couple more fields," but it just started raining. We were like, "Nah, we're good."
Yeah. Done it enough.
But man,
So
it
what
was
do you do
much
for
fun.
the rest of the time if you're only out for 2.5
Yeah.
hours?
You just kind of hang out. There's like a main lodge. Trice, hey, no. There's like a main lodge that everybody kind of hangs out in. Food, ping pong table, bar, pool table, poker table.
fun.
And then the one day we went to we worked out a little bit at the lodge one day, and then we went to like a 24-hour type fitness. They were powerlifting gym, so we went there on Sunday. Dan did the workout. I judged him. Apparently, I didn't know the standards, so
He's
Dan
doing
had
it
to
again.
redo it again on Monday. So I went with him the second time. And after having Tasia judge me the first
Mommy.
time,
Did you screw up his workout?
I did. I totally did.
Oh.
I told him to start the wrong way, and then there were a couple.
there was like weird too. Like I
The
mean,
feet standard was kinda
It
weird.
was just hard to judge. But the tape, both hands had to be on the tape when your feet were on the wall. So we found a gym in Mitchell, South Dakota, which was an hour drive each way. But CrossFit Tempest, shout out to them. It was awesome. Amber was great. She knows you.
Amber?
She's from Orlando. She
What's
went
her
with
last
you
name?
at Firebase.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I don't know why she's in South. That's
Her
amazing.
family's
Yeah.
from South Dakota, so she went back.
That's wild.
Yeah, it was awesome. They were super hospitable, let us work out. We had a couple of the guys go with us just to hang out and judge, and Kevin and Brad.
Nice.
But yeah, it was a ton of fun. A lot of what we did was we got 4 spots and we sold 10 of them to like hunt with us. And so
Right
me
on.
and Dan Dan Bailey went with us, and we flip-flopped with the groups each day and kind of hung out. It was a ton of fun. Really cool group of guys.
You get to shoot so much when you're pheasant hunting, which is cool. You get to really use the gun a lot.
Was everyone proficient with their equipment, or does anyone go there to learn how to shoot?
There was somebody that had never hunted before, Gabe, one of the guys from CCV, and he did incredible. Did a great job. So I mean, it's a little bit. I mean, because you're shooting, and you just got to be smart, and because I mean, you got shooting lanes that you don't want to, either shoot off a barrel or shoot somebody off to your right or left. So as long as they're responsible, it's not that. I mean, any hunting is dangerous, I guess, technically, but it wasn't at no point other than when Marlon
I was about to say,
peppered me a little bit.
Oh, did he?
It was a little bit of a low bird one time.
Little bird
And you
shot.
just see the bird in front, because I was, you have, so what you do is, and I didn't know this before, we were in groups of 7, so you had 3 guys pushing, and then you had 2 wings up about 30 yards just outside the corn or trees, whatever we were pushing. Then you have 2 blockers down at the end to keep the pheasants from running out, because they want to run out. And then the dogs, dogs are incredible. They were awesome. It reminded me,
labs?
Yeah, they were all labs. It reminded me of Gilligan when he was a puppy. But so then you have the guides behind the 3 people, and they're kind of calling to the dogs, and they have got these things, and you don't want the dogs to get too far out in front, because the birds will get outside of your range, and shotguns only have a certain range before they are ineffective. And so the dogs are working, they're calling the dogs. They've got little like beep collars. The dogs know that, hey, 1 beep means come back, 2 beeps mean you come back now, really cool. And 3 you hear a yeet. And so, but these dogs, man, they just want to, it's like they just know what to do. 100%. It was incredible. So you're walking in 3s, and the one day, me and Scott went with us to film some, and I'm a blocker, and I forgot who else was. And so I'm looking out, and once you start getting close to the blockers, the guides will say, blockers 75 yards, because it's starting to get a little, what they told us was, don't shoot until you see the bird get up into the skyline. Marlon has a hair finger. He'd usually shoot 2 or 3 times before anybody else would shoot. You're just like, and he would hit him, usually on second or third, but he was just like so fast.
Right.
And so it puts everybody else on edge too, because you're like, I gotta shoot. And so at one point, I'm just kind of hanging out there, and you can see the bird get shot before you hear the shotgun go off. But I see the bird, and I hear low bird, and usually you just feel some pellets kind of rain down on your head. This one, I felt pellets on my chest, and I was like, I looked at Scott, and he goes, I think we just got shot. And he goes, did you feel that? I said, yeah, we just got shot.
Oh, wow.
Like, it didn't hurt, but it was just like little like sting almost.
Yeah.
It was, and sure enough, it was Marlon.
That's hilarious.
And then another guy, Gabe, when we were talking about it, they were joking because he shot somebody too. Not shot,
Pellets.
completely fine. But yeah, you're like, ooh. That wasn't just pellets, It wasn't raining down. That was like, the trajectory was a little more, a little less. So, but man, it was a ton of fun. So you just walk and shoot,
That's
cool.
Give each other shit for missing birds, and
What is like the chance of like me being able to shoot one if I have no experience?
I mean, you definitely want to get a little, like just shooting clay pigeons before that.
Okay.
I don't really know.
Like, is it that hard because there's so many?
Well, so
if I just aim in the sky.
No. So what it is like you won't know. You might see them running between some of these corn stalks, and so you anticipate one jumping up. But so they jump up. And honestly, they're not terrible until if they catch flight or catch the wind, they're gone. Like they're fast from there. So you got to get them pretty quick.
Okay. It's not like a flock.
Yeah. No, it was like one at a time.
So
sometimes you have like 4 or 5 or
Right.
6 like jumping up, and so you're like trying
How
to figure
far
out.
are you from them physically, you think?
Depends. There was a couple, like one popped right up, and so you shouldn't. It's not a very, you're not gonna probably hit it like this, but you just natural reaction is to shoot there, and then you kind of wait and try to shoot it behind you. So I had a couple of those. There was one, you're not allowed to shoot them on the ground or in trees, and so me and Marlon are walking through this thicket, and there's a bunch of like evergreen trees on our sides, but then like thick brush right here, and so we're the only ones in the middle. And I'm walking, and I look over, and there's one about right where the camera is in a tree just staring at us.
It's like,
and so the dogs keep going by it because they can't see it.
Right.
And so I walked up to it, and hit it with the barrel of my gun, and then we shot it.
That's so bad.
It was bad. But
Hey, he's on a drink.
It's too bad they're not smart enough. Like, hey, I'm in a tree.
I'm in a tree. Yeah. So you just
Gotcha.
walk up. I just tapped it and then shot it. And then there
That's
was
crazy.
another
It
one.
didn't take off.
There was
Yeah.
another one time that it was like trying to hide, because they want to hide is what they want to do. And so it's trying to hide in this grass, and the dogs had already passed. And I see it, so I had to like run up to it and try to like get it to jump. And sure enough, got it to jump.
Didn't you say something like, don't they like release one for every one you like? It was some crazy
Yeah, so-
statistic. I didn't even.
This was out of season. It's they talk about it a bunch on the video, but hunting is, I think pheasant hunting in particular is the second largest amount of income that comes into the state, and it was some crazy amount in jobs and all this stuff. And so what they do is, for every pheasant you kill, they have to take one from a farm and release it out into the fields, 1-to-1. And so these are probably a lot of them. Like you could tell apparently by the holes in their snout if they were farm raised or wild birds.
Oh, wow.
Interesting.
And so a lot of them were they weren't planted. Like a lot of places will just go out and plant them, but they were farm raised birds. But it was still fun.
Yeah, that's
And we're
cool.
gonna eat all of them for all the negative comments that we'll get here in a little bit. But it was a ton of fun. We got, I think, 15 pairs of breasts, I guess, coming home for each of us. And then I had one mounted to put downstairs just to
Oh, that's cool.
have at the
What
house.
does it taste like?
gonna
Like
say.
chicken?
It's a little bit more dry than chicken. We had it one night. So the lodge we went to, Thunderstick, it was incredible. So you get up every morning, they have breakfast for you, which of course I don't eat, but breakfast, coffee, everybody kind of hangs out. You could go shoot skeet, do whatever you wanted to kind of warm up. And then they have like a sandwich bar. So you make your sandwich, make your field lunch, pack your lunch, make sandwiches, chips, all that type of stuff, throw it in a plastic bag, throw it in the cooler for your guide. And then usually around 10 o'clock, we'd go out in the field. Like I said, we'd shoot, whatever. About 1 o'clock, we'd all come together, we'd eat, and then we'd go back to the lodge. And then they had incredible dinners at night. So like prime rib one night.
Wow.
One night was this like Cajun pheasant with like red beans and rice.
Yum.
Stuffed pork tenderloin one night, fillets one night. The food was incredible.
Sounds like my
but
kind
they
of
had,
hunt.
but they had the pheasant. They had pheasant one night, and I'm pretty sure it was like a crock pot type pheasant, so it was delicious.
Sounds good.
It's like a
so I mean,
slow-cooked
it's like a
kinda-
white meat breast, but it tastes like turkey or chicken.
Yeah.
Probably a little bit more dry. You have to put a little bit more, into it, I guess. But
Know how to prepare it.
man, it was awesome. And then the guides were fun. They were hilarious. So we had one. His name was Brennan, but they called him Crawl. And
Why?
then Jason, he apparently got drunk at the Christmas party and slipped walking out to his room at the lodge, and then crawled the rest of the way to the place called Crawl.
I figured there was a story behind that.
There you go.
Brendan or Crawl, yep.
That's a story we got. And then Jay was at one of our guides, and then Garrett. But man, it was a ton of fun. So good group of people too that went with us. Some CrossFitters from around, and then a couple guys that had never done CrossFit before, but they saw it on Froning Farms and then went to CCV. So
Nice.
it was fun. It was a
That's
good time.
awesome. Have you ever been hunting at all?
No, I've shot a shotgun and a handgun, but like a couple of times, and that's about it. I know.
After seeing you shoot that air rifle, I'm not sure that I want to let you.
Okay, to be fair, I was looking
Tasia's
in the wrong
lined
way.
up.
I was looking to the wrong
Like
hole.
you're the target, and Tasia's lined up, laying down like this, and I'm like, because she's using her left
Yeah, I was
eye.
using the wrong eye. That was it.
And so the gun is like completely, or maybe you were left. I can't remember.
was
You were
something
left.
wrong,
It was
yeah.
something. Yeah, it was.
It was
off.
all wrong. Not
was not
something
good.
wrong. It was all wrong. I witnessed it.
But then I got better.
Yeah.
I hit some of those.
You could do it. You just
Yeah.
need to practice
Yeah,
at
practice.
it.
Anything like
And
that.
shooting a shotgun is something you can do when you just work on it a little bit, and then you're not afraid of it. And
Because this sounds like a hunt I could get behind.
Yeah.
This
Good
was
food and,
this was
you
a
know,
ton of fun.
yeah.
Scott
Always show me the
outside.
footage.
I would definitely do it again.
It'll make a really good video.
What?
Yeah, for sure.
People are gonna freak out though.
Oh, yeah.
Anti-hunters and vegetarians and all that are gonna freak out.
Good.
It's actually like it's just really funny.
Yeah.
Like to see a bird just flying and then just down, and the dog just takes off after it, comes back with it in its
Did he
mouth.
show you the drone footage of the one?
Yeah, look good. He showed
So-
me your drone footage too.
Yeah, it was bad.
Yeah.
It was, dude. I was getting sick.
Yeah, I'd imagine it'd be pretty tough.
It was hard. And then your head's because he's got that VR or that first person drone, and so
Oh,
you
yeah.
like look like you've got the
that's
glasses
nuts.
on, and so for some reason, as you're like looking down with the camera, you start to look down because it's just a natural reaction.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, so Scott, one time, he's flying the drone behind us and trying to get footage, and somebody shoots one, but they didn't kill it entirely, and so it's flying, and it can't get up high because they shot the tail feathers off, and so
It'll be over soon. Don't worry about it.
And so it's flying. You're not allowed to go hunting. So it's flying, and the dog's like, there's 3 dogs in pursuit of it. And they're like jumping at it, and then whoom, right out of the air. You're like, oh, that was awesome. And Scott just got the drone in while he was doing it.
Oh, wow.
It was I'm telling you, the most impressive thing was the dogs. And then some of them, like the birds would go to jump, and the dogs would just snatch them out of the air. And you're like, that's awesome.
He showed me one clip where I guess you were like in the bushes, like trying to shake one out because you can't shoot them when they're on the ground, right?
Yeah.
And then it starts to like fly. And Scott just like jumps to the ground, but it's like filming you.
Oh yeah, no, it's the one. So
and you guys are all just going
We're walking, and it literally flies right here, and I couldn't get my gun, and then I turn around and shoot, and Scott's walking behind us, and I look, and Scott's just laying on the grass. It was awesome.
He's a good cameraman.
Yeah.
Scott's awesome.
That's like full level of commitment.
It was so much fun though. And Scott was getting like he's like, I was just concentrating on the birds and watching them just explode.
He said Marlin like almost killed you.
Yeah, that's what we said. We told that story. Yeah, Marlon shot us.
That's crazy.
Did he even apologize? Or?
Oh yeah,
okay. Because I
love Marlon.
Marlon would probably be like, sorry, but
it wasn't like a.
Right.
I mean, he didn't almost kill us. Like it was not that. You know,
I was exaggerating.
He didn't Cheney us, but
right. That's what I was getting ready to say. Did he Dick Cheney you?
No, it wasn't that bad. Like I just said, you could just feel the pellets. That was the only time. Through my clothes. Usually you didn't feel the pellets through your clothes. You just kind of felt them or heard them either like on your hat or hear them on the truck.
Right.
That time I felt pellets, so that's why we joked.
Have you hunted silver?
Yes.
What kind of animal?
Lots of pheasant hunt.
Oh,
hunting.
really?
Yeah.
Is that a Colorado thing?
It's a Nebraska thing.
Oh, right. You're
And
Nebraska.
my family's all from Nebraska, so
Oh, who knew?
that's probably like goose and duck and pheasant were probably the most of what I've done.
Man, it was so much fun. It was a blast. I would definitely do that again. We talked about going back again next year. It was so much fun.
It's cool to go to a.
Looked fun. Yeah, and your intro was pretty good. You're like,
what's
if you're
the intro?
if you're sensitive, just go ahead and turn off the video or something. Yeah.
We just did an intro. I was like, hey,
It's good.
we're here at Thunderstick Lodge, and there's 70 pheasants behind me dead on the wall. Just like,
That cracked me up. They're all hanging on hooks.
I'm like, if you've got a weak stomach, just don't even watch it.
Yeah.
Turn it up now.
Go to the next workout video.
Yep, sorry.
Oh, geez.
We talked about having, on the tabs on our Mayhem, CrossFit Mayhem YouTube channel, how we like put videos in a certain folder. We'll have like an outdoors folder because some people are like, we don't like that, whatever. So
It's important that all that's being done responsibly, and they're paying attention to the population of the birds and conservation.
What people don't realize is how much money goes back into and would not be, if
Meat's being used, going back to the state.
Yep.
Lots of people benefit from it.
Yep.
It's no waste.
That's way more humane than what they do for grocery store stuff. I mean, good grief.
It is sporting for sure.
Yeah.
but sport, and we had fun.
Yeah.
Like, sorry.
Camaraderie out in the woods, that sort of thing,
You can just go to Kroger and buy some caged up chicken that, that ain't right.
Yeah, that's way different.
Factory farming and all that. It's not the way to do it.
But man, it was fun.
That's awesome.
I'm gonna arrange a girl hunt.
I know. We can go, Tasia. We can schedule our own.
We're gonna need
sort
more.
of
You can go out there.
something.
Carrie will take care of you. The guy, the owner, the lodge owner.
They'll be like,
Is it okay to take wine out here? Just kidding.
Actually, I mean, they had a ton of wine and you had beer as soon as you finished.
Oh, you know. I'm like, that sounds
you
bad.
could have beer. You can't.
like-
That was the rule. You can't shoot skeet. You can't do anything after you've had your first sip of alcohol.
That's fair.
It's
As it should be.
responsible.
Tasia
Smart.
be like,
Yeah.
did we get our limit today? We didn't hit one.
I feel like that'd make for good YouTube stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, if both of them came back alive, if you didn't kill
We
each
gotta
other.
do it. We should totally
No,
do it.
I would practice. I would go, and then
Heck yeah.
however pheasants they killed, we would kill the same
However,
amount.
pheasants they
100
killed.
However many you guys killed,
However-
we're gonna kill the same.
Or one more.
Well, that would be illegal.
Wait, I thought you said there was one day you were one under.
Yeah, we killed it extra the next day. And extra.
Well, okay, fine.
Think about it.
Name it and claim it, Tasia.
I'm gonna
The
do
big
it.
thing is, like I said, it's off season, so it was all the birds that are killed are replenished, and you have to pay a little extra if you kill any extra is the deal.
Replenished.
And you can't kill hens. But we saw like 1 or 2 hens.
How would you know that fast? They look really different.
That's why they look way different. So they're completely gray. You know, when you see ducks, you see a mallard and a hen.
Totally.
The mallard is like a green head. That's what pheasants have, a green head with a white ring around their neck. And they have a longer tail and all this stuff. They look way different. However, like we were saying, people are pretty quick on the there was one hen that got shot at least 10 times before anybody noticed, but they all missed it. I was not in on that volley, but yeah.
Right.
It was funny. You're like when you're a blocker and you hear gunshots go off, and you're like, oh, there goes a bird. And then you hear the guide say, no bird, no bird, no bird, because they're yelling at the dogs because the dogs will keep going after the bird. So they have to say, no bird, no bird, no bird. And so, man, they just have this like revolving, you hear, go find some birds. And then and then you hear the dogs' names and you just hear that all day long. And then you hear no bird, or rooster, rooster, rooster. It's just the same things you hear over and over.
Wow.
And so laying at night, you're like, you go to sleep, but you have dreams about those 5 things being said. And so like the last 4 or 5 nights, I've had dreams of pheasant hunting because it's just like you hear that the one dog's name was Lure, and so you just hear Lure, and then go find some birds. Wow. Watch the video and listen, and then you hear like these little beep 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 for the dogs because the one guy the 2 guys that I hunted with the second day. They didn't have the collars, and the dogs, they would just call the dogs back and they'd come back. But the one dog was getting trained, and so they had these kind of beep collars. Just trying to teach them, hey, 1 beep means come back, 2 beeps mean get your ass back here type deal. So
I wonder how long it takes to train the dogs.
he said, honestly, Brennan said that his puppy basically just picked it up. He hadn't had any formal training.
Wow.
They just kind of, so what they do is, so you've got those kennel trailers that the dogs are in there, and they rotate them out because they'll wear the dogs will basically run themselves into the ground because they just want to keep doing it and keep doing it and keep doing it. And so they rotate them out, which dog gets to come out like 2 or 3 at a time, and then they get to rest the next hunt, and they rotate them out. And it was funny, they had like dogs like Jake, Dad's Jake, or even Gilligan that they bring out just to let them walk the side of the field. And so they had this really older lab, female lab, and she's just walking outside the corn with us, not doing anything. And she sees one and she points it and she crawls real slow and walks up and just grabs it.
Wow. That's awesome.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That'd be so cool to see like one of the retired dogs just like trotting along and be like, I still got it if I want to.
Yeah.
That's
Just
me.
a little
That sounds
nap.
like me.
Oh,
There you go.
please,
That's
Jim.
you just trot. He's like, yeah, we just let her come out and walk. She gets her walks in.
Aw.
Oh, that's awesome. That's cool.
You guys with your Topo Chicos today. M30 told me today that Topo Chico's coming out with hard water.
Oh, I saw
I'm in.
that. Oh, wow.
I was like, okay.
I'm in.
I had a Topo Chico yesterday.
Of course you did. You double fist Topo Chicos just to spite me.
Yeah, I did. That was just to spite you. I'd only bought one of them though. The other one was just out of the display case.
Oh,
I
it was just
used
for looks.
It was just for
okay,
looks.
I can appreciate that.
I only had one.
You know what I found out today too? Remember that one time we talked about Iron Cowboy?
Yes.
You know, right now he's in the middle of doing 100 Ironman in 100 days. He's on day like,
Wow.
I don't even know. The podcast I listened to,
even
he was on
understand
18,
that.
and that was
Sounds
like pre-recorded.
He was trying to get Bridges, I think, to do 7 in 7 days on 7 continents or something like that.
Wow.
He messaged us. Did I tell you that?
Yeah.
How can
Yeah.
you even fly that? Like, how
have
can you
no
even
idea.
fly to a different continent and do that?
He has it
no
mapped
idea.
out. Like he
But
had.
apparently Antarctica, you don't swim. You have to like ski it or something like
That would make sense because the
I was
water's
gonna
temperature.
say.
But he starts in a certain place in the world because there's only certain way you could do it from a time change standpoint. And I want to say he either started in Hawaii or ended there, and then there's like a way that you have to, because of the recovery time and the time of day, you have to start it. Because he has, we could actually go. It's actually really cool if you go to his Instagram, and then it sends you to his website. So like I looked at it this morning when I found out he was in the middle of doing them, and it's like he's in hour 2 whatever of the swim, because there are days like they were like any other person would have like pulled out. His foot was like super swollen after like, I don't know, the 7th one or 10th one or something. And they're like, no, he wanted to do it. He'll just walk the marathon that day, I guess. But you're going to pay for it because you only get so much recovery time. And I just can't understand like physically how.
Yeah, I didn't realize too. So like some of them, I think he ran on a treadmill one day, which people freaked out. But it's like, who cares?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Still impressive.
Yeah.
Like something like weather was going on or whatever. And
It's amazing.
Well, someone was saying too, and I was like kind of zoning in and out of the podcast, and I don't know if they were saying. I know that's so weird that I half listened to something. Oh my gosh. The guy was saying it's easier to do the same course over and over. So I don't know if he's doing some of them the same place, because they were saying mentally, it's like anything. Like if you're comfortable and you know if you get to like 1 hour here, 6 hours here, which I think there would be some merit to doing the same one over and over, especially if you're doing that many.
How long at his pace is it taking him to do an Ironman? Like how? I don't even honestly
sure.
know.
Let me
It's
see if
the
I can
time
pull it up.
domain of like what a pretty good Ironman is. Do you know?
What are the distances?
It's
Well, marathon, so 26-mile run.
2.4 mile swim and then 112 mile bike. So 2.4, 112 mile bike.
It's amazing.
And a marathon. But people don't appreciate how wrecked your legs are even after a 50 mile flat bike or a 100 a century. Getting off and being able to even do a pace where you finish in one day. I mean, it's
impressive.
yeah.
Wait, how many mile bike? 115?
112.
112?
Conquer 100 triathlons, 100 consecutive days, March 1st to June 8th.
He must have to just totally, well, obviously, like his focus is solely that, so much that he cannot retain anything else for 100 days, which is more than 3 months of just focus purely on running.
He was doing 100 days worth. Is that what you said?
I'm
Yeah.
saying 100, yeah.
Wow.
So one every day for 100 days, which is 3
Is
months
that even
basically.
humanly possible? Wow.
Yeah,
So
it's
he's
crazy.
in Utah doing it right now.
Like it's almost so outlandish because
Right.
nobody else could even touch that.
Right. It's seriously, it
That you
doesn't
would
even
think,
seem like
These are the projected times.
That's what amazes me too. Just thinking about, what about time spent with anyone or, you know,
Right.
like
right.
obviously that's your sole focus of your job, but it doesn't even leave like a window of, I feel like
I was
any time.
talking to Addison Schock,
Yeah.
who's one of
he does
our
those,
members here.
Crazy.
And he had been
100-milers.
training for a 50-mile race this past weekend.
Mm-hmm.
And I was down at Poets, and there he was standing in front of me. I'm like, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing here? And he's like, oh, man, like I got to the race. And he's like, I every now and then I have this allergy thing that comes up. And he's like, I'm really proud of myself. For the first time in my life, I like stopped myself. I would normally just go all in. And I was just like, you know what? This is not going to be okay. He said, I'm having trouble breathing. I don't feel good. And this is the thing that I deal with only maybe once a year. So he didn't do the race, packed up, came home. And then he's like, but I'm doing 50 miles tomorrow. And then he drove off into some, I don't know where here, and did 50 miles the other day. Just because he was pissed that he'd trained for it and
So
didn't get to do it. So he just went and did it on his own.
That's pretty incredible. He's like mentally
badass.
super tough.
Yeah.
Okay, so here are the paces to put this in perspective, because we kind of know like swim paces and stuff. So his swim is 5:30 a.m. to 7 a.m. He has scheduled 1 hour, 28 minutes and 40 seconds with an average pace of 2:04 per 100. So, I mean, that's pretty like...
That's fast.
That's not moving. Like you have to be... Okay, so then he has a 15-minute transition time. So from swim to bike.
15?
15. Just, probably get calories and hydrate. This, I feel like, is still super impressive, too. His bike
4
window,
hours, 5 hours?
6 hours and 45 minutes. Imagine sitting in a saddle for almost 7 hours. His average pace is 16 and a half miles an
Why
hour.
is
So
the bike always so much longer than everything else? I don't
His
know.
butt cheeks have to be like raw.
It's not
he
his
has to
butt
have
Callus.
calluses.
It's not his butt cheeks.
Okay, so for you guys, something else.
It's his grundle.
His grundle.
Can you imagine
taint.
every day?
How rock hard.
It'd be so bad.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you'd be a giant callus or something.
The giant
Right?
callus.
Bruise, a giant bruise.
Not to
Yeah,
bring it
but
there,
even
but
after,
I mean,
even after we do like an hour-long bike ride, the next day I'm like, I'm not sitting on
like
the bike.
butt.
For sure.
I think I would just take like a couch cushion and sit on that.
Yeah.
He must have a cushiony seat,
Yeah.
probably like a
You've
gel
got to.
seat.
I don't know. It's
Jealousy.
probably...
Yeah.
We got tassels hanging off the bike too, or what?
A card. Little card on the
Whatever
spokes.
it takes. I will let you guys guess his. So for his run time is 5 hours. And what is your guess for the average pace for that?
Oh my
For his
God.
run?
Which is it's still faster than what I would assume.
Like an 8-minute mile or
10-minute
something?
mile probably. 12.
Guys, if he's doing this every day for 100
for a
days,
15-minute mile.
That's what I would have guessed, 11 and a half.
Wow.
I'm like 8 minute mile.
And for
is
5
gone.
hours.
would
Like
die.
that's after 7 hours of biking, you have a 5
would
hours
die.
of running. And 11 and a half pace, that's not like, I mean, what walking pace is what, 13-minute mile?
It's like, I mean, depending on how fast you go. I did walk a marathon in a day, a few months ago.
Oh, yeah.
Really?
And I was
Right,
wrecked.
right. I was wrecked. Do you know how
feet.
fast your pace was per mile?
We started out, I think, at like pretty slow. Like, what's 2 miles an hour pace? I think it's like a 20-minute mile. Like, it was pretty slow
Think
yeah,
about
2
it. Think about the math there.
I
2 miles per
per
hour.
hour.
30-minute mile pace.
Okay, no, then it wasn't that. 15.
Huh?
15.
3 miles. That would be 4 miles an hour.
I don't know. Okay, I have no idea what miles per hour we were walking
Math.
at. But
was
I think
hard.
it was like a 15 to 20-minute mile.
Okay.
What would that be?
4
Sounds
miles
right.
per hour.
Yeah, something like that.
Think
I was
about,
wrecked.
think about math.
My feet were so swollen for days after.
Oh, I bet.
What's that total time for the?
See, it doesn't
So if he goes 11, if he bump it down to say, so if you go, what did we say, 11? If you go 12, so if you said 12-minute miles, you got what, 5 miles? No, 4 miles. That's 48 minutes. Yeah, 5 miles per hour. And then it's 26 miles, so 5.5 hours, 6 hours.
For what, the
I
marathon?
meant for the whole thing.
Oh, I'm sorry for the whole thing.
He is doing that.
was
I
trying
just
to
saw
total
too that the challenge takes. He's doing 100 times the same course in 100 days, which makes sense from traveling and like support systems and stuff.
Sounds
so
boring.
he's doing the same course, and it shows like we should go to Utah and support him. It shows the pool he does it at,
No.
and also I think
He's in
it's
a pool?
That's worse.
That's
So bad.
It's just like, oh man.
Not only
That's
is
his
this
bike
like
route.
physically impressive, but
It
mentally
shows it.
it's impressive. I'd be like, F that.
Amazing.
It
100%
shows his
amazing.
whole like literally we can follow him in real time. I can look up right now like where he is in space.
He's definitely
in
got
Utah.
like a shut off switch in
Yep.
his brain.
Oh, for sure.
Lights are
Especially
on
when
and
you
nobody's
like,
home for 18 hours a day, like
Wow.
just
What's he
mind
thinking
numb.
about? Jeez.
You, I mean, you.
Lasagna.
I guess he
Does
probably
he
have some
Does he
ideas.
listen to anything, or is he silent?
He's working something out,
Yeah.
He also like
Solving-
he gets he has different support people
impressive.
doing parts of the race with him too. I think like sometimes like
Doesn't matter.
people show up and participate.
I'd be like, oh
It's like
yeah, you
Forrest
feel
Gump.
fresh.
It's like Forrest Gump, huh?
Just like,
Yeah.
I'm an Ironman 60.
Whoa, you just stepped in a huge pile of dog crap, man. It happens. What? Shit. Sometimes.
Sometimes.
oh, that's awesome.
Wow.
Maybe we need to go there for t-shirt ideas. It's in there too. When the guy
Forrest
wipes his face,
Yeah,
it's a
yeah,
smiley
yeah.
face shirt.
Yeah, yeah.
Ah, nobody likes this color anyway.
Gosh.
That guy's incredible.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
amazing.
It is
I-
pretty amazing. Just even thinking like most human bodies after doing one Ironman, it takes like months to recover, let alone like,
I wonder what like the effect on his body
Joints?
is going to be. yeah.
No
does he
joints.
have joints, cartilage?
They're gonna have to fuse his ankles to his tibia
even
to his
imagine.
femur. He's just gonna be.
Oh, man.
Probably has bone density like you though.
How
let's
old
be
is he?
honest. It has to be
It's not
like
the
that.
bone
That's what
density is the
exactly what I was
problem.
gonna
It's the
ask.
joint
The
density.
cartilage?
How old
Elly,
is
how
he?
old is he?
Let's see. How old?
He's
He's
kinda old,
definitely
man.
shaving years off his
not
life.
old, but he's older.
Easy.
Like old like me?
He's like
or
50 or so, I think.
Not
Oh no,
I think so.
He's 38.
38.
Based
Might
on
as
50.
well.
That's pretty much 50.
He's
You're
Tasia's
38,
age.
you're 50.
He's 30.
I'm not even offended.
That's good.
She's
good.
like, I own this. That's funny.
A lot younger than Elly.
You're hilarious. Oh my gosh. Silver has jokes today. Go back to your rhyming.
Still 38 though in doing this. I mean,
Yeah, that's crazy.
You've got to feel kind of
does he
weathered.
have a family?
He's got like, I feel
No
like
way.
4 to 6 kids. He has a lot of family.
Well, that's why he's doing it. He's trying to get out the house.
His wife's like,
He's like,
hello.
peace out.
There it is.
Look at
I'm
the
gonna be
kids.
gone for 3 months. Just racing.
Let's see. I want
Oh,
to
man.
be accurate here.
My wife would love that.
Iron Cowboy family.
Just pop in. You're just
His
like
name is
so fatigued. Like I need food and rest, and then see ya.
His
going to
name
sleep.
is,
You got
is
the kids?
James Lawrence, by the way. Oh, there's a whole article on the woman behind the cowboy.
Woman behind the
Makes
cowboy.
sense.
That's right.
She's a
'cause
hero.
She's back at the house while he's gone. She's definitely
It
behind
appears
in
that
the
he
rearview
has
mirror.
5 children.
It's impressive.
3 girls, 4 girls and a boy.
Family.
It's very sweet. Yay.
Okay, so
Wow.
he's got to be
That's
making
something.
money
That's
on
not
it.
nothing. That's impressive.
Well, so what they
Very
were talking about too
Sponsorships and
was,
stuff like
yeah, they do like the documentaries and stuff, pay for, because you have to think too, like even the support crew each day, that's so expensive to have the amount of people to support the bike, to support the transitions, to support all of that stuff. But they were talking about, and there's parallels here, and I think we've kind of talked about this before, of do you have like, a lot of competitive athletes say they have an alter ego when the lights turn on, when something like that happens. And like a lot of people,
Tasia's
especially
is
in this-
Wanda.
Wanda. Hey, Wanda on the competition floor gets it done, you know? And I think people have that in like sports and like even like public speaking and stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you guys think?
100%.
Yeah.
I don't know,
For
it's
sure.
an alter ego, but you just kind of
Not, yeah.
shut it off.
I think
Just become psycho.
There's a performance identity. That's how I talk about it. And then there's a personal identity, you know? And yeah, for sure. Places that you can go and things you can do that.
Those are both really interesting. Do you want to elaborate on those at all?
No.
Okay.
No, I'm just kidding.
Go ahead. That's fine. I was like, all right. And next topic.
So savage.
Let's not talk about anything important right now. Like, I think that there's like, it's super interesting to, like, all of you. It's really interesting who you are as a person and then who you are as a competitor. And who, you know, just, and a lot of that performance stuff is born inside of who you are. It's a gift to be able to compete the way you have that all in common. You are competitors, and how each one of you get there is completely different. You know, I don't know. It's fascinating for me to watch. And then who you are as a person is different, and you have to be able to define those things. Or your performance stuff, the mean, the nasty, the aggressive, all those things that it takes to be, I don't mean that in a bad way. I'm talking within the rules of the game. We make a joke about Wanda. Wanda in real life, personally, that's hard to love. And I don't mean in a bad way. I just mean that competitive kind of, we don't want to be that with the people that we love the most, or to compete in spaces where you don't need to be. So I think it's super important to be able to define that and know what that is in both of those environments, and be able to flip the switch and then walk away from it. So I guess some people say, you know, an alter ego or whatever, I guess.
There are a lot of athletes that like there's just a lot of research on people that like they name it, they have like, and that's just the space they have to go in, you know?
Yeah. Well, I mean, you have talked about her, about who you are, and I'm not trying to be negative here, just your personality and your identity when you train and then when you compete are different things. You can go to a whole nother level when you compete. You're kind of like a big lights kind of person when it's, when it means something and it's on, there's a different person that shows up even when you train. Because the happy kind of, you know, friendly Elly is there when she trains, but when it comes time to compete, you can do it, you know? And I'm not being negative. I'm just saying it's just different.
I love that 70-80% range while I'm training.
Yeah.
For sure. But that's like, when you go on stage to do a big talk in front of crowds, like you've done a lot of really, really big, important talks. Does anything go through your mind, or is it inherent? Like you were an athlete for a long time too. Does anything turn that switch on for you? It's just natural for you too.
Like it's 100% how I feel about talking in front of people. That same compete comes out of me. At the last Train with Rich, I'm going to give you a goofy example of what happened, and then they just poured out of me. What's the new camera guy's name?
Wyatt.
So you hand the mic to me, and I'm starting to think about it in a real competitive, serious way. It means everything to me. It's the same as when you guys go to compete. And so I'm getting into that space, and Wyatt comes walking up to check the microphone. But he comes up all timid and weird. So as he starts to get closer to me, his body language kind of starts to back up, and he reaches. And I have totally gone into compete mode. And I'm looking at him like, and so what came out of me was I barked at him. Like a freaking Rottweiler. He got close, and as soon as his hand got close, I was like, and he like cowered backwards and almost fell over.
I missed that.
And he got so awkward after that too.
And it just happened.
Oh my goodness.
It just totally happened. Everybody's kind of looking at me like I'm crazy, but I'm in compete mode. And
It's understandable.
and he's walking up to me like, think about when you get ready Like if
Yeah.
you were getting ready to compete and you're in that space,
Oh, you
I
don't
have
want,
literally
like-
seen Rich physically moving through a workout, not on purpose. This is moving through the workout. People got in the way, and I have seen him move through their body to get to the next thing because he is 100% competing, and you are in the way. And it's not mean.
No,
it's
yeah.
inside the chaos of what's
Yeah.
going on. And when he did that, literally all I know was I was in this space where I was going to be super aggressive. I'm going to speak the truth. I want to do something to change people's lives. And then here's this guy.
Can I touch you?
Yeah, like it was just like I went to him later and apologized. And I
Yeah.
was like, bro, just like walk up and grab the thing and fix it. Like,
Yeah.
you do your part, I'll do my part. Let's get this done. It was
Yeah.
pretty funny, but that's
But
exactly
that's
what happened in that space. And I didn't even mean it. It just came out of
Oh,
me.
totally.
Yeah.
I like Tedward is the famous one where I was polite. I said,
Can you move now, please?
because he was in my way and I was trying to work
We were
out.
training for 18.
Yeah,
He's 18, yeah.
it was 18. He was in the way of the handstand walk. I think he had fallen or something. And I was like, you got to move.
Move.
I'm coming through. I
Yeah.
said, please. But
Yeah.
sometimes I've accidentally maybe like yelled at someone and then after I'm like, sorry, I didn't
Yeah.
mean to like yell at you. But
You have like, I
oh goodness.
there's a hair on me here. It's connected to the mic. I've asked you to coach me though. And we make jokes about you being super aggressive
Yeah.
about where I
Hey,
was
Jim,
at.
straighten your arm.
Yeah, that one.
I mean,
But it was right, and in that space, it was so the right thing. But it was funny, you know.
What was
like,
it? Can you completely extend your arm?
yeah, like let's
remember
do
that.
this.
Now
Let's
look
get
at
this
you.
right.
Yeah.
full extension.
Oh, full extension.
She's so
every time
proud.
I go to do that, I think about it now. Holy crap, is Tasia looking?
Is
Lock
my
it
elbow
out.
back?
Lock it out.
Yeah.
But no, so I think there's, yes, to answer your question, there's for sure a performance identity that's important if you want to go live in that world, and you have to understand that.
Yeah.
And then it's important, and values are the bridge between that and who we are as people. And we want to make sure that we understand those two spaces and we're able to be who we were created to be in both of those places.
Totally. Have you seen the Jordan documentary?
I haven't, but I want to watch it.
Last
Yeah.
Dance. I've heard
Yeah.
it. Heard
Okay,
it's
never
good,
mind.
but I haven't seen it.
There's one part where he's talking about in one of the games, he like almost created this false scenario with one of the other
Just
players
to
to
hate
like
him?
get him like aggravated and worked up, and then he smashed like whatever the game, and years later he asked him about like something that he said to him, and he was like, oh, he never even said that, but he had like created this scenario in his mind of this player saying something to him, like calling him out in some way, and it forced him to get like
Angry.
aggressive and angry and crush his game. It's kind of a really interesting
100%.
thing. So-
100%. You can, I mean, they're in all kinds of spaces people use that. Mixed martial arts.
Well, I mean,
Talking trash.
We've talked about it with Andrea and Taylor. I mean, they were arch nemesis
Yeah,
for how
totally.
many years? So, and then you kind of hang out with them. And you're like, oh, we kind of created this
Totally.
kind of false narrative. That,
sure.
I mean, they're competitors like
Yeah,
all
of
of us.
course.
So you create, and they weren't trying to make friends while they're competing because you lose a little bit of edge there. So
But it made it fun. Like I think about at Wadapalooza, the pump sesh workout, and just us
Yeah.
all just being like
Right
put them in
there.
the dirt, like
Yeah.
they're right
Yeah.
next to you, and they're just
Yeah.
like turning this
Yeah.
person like.
Yeah, inside the rules of the game, you're all in.
yeah,
I've heard you say, I've mentioned a million times, I'll fall for the rig. I would give it all in that space. And I have lived in that space where, as an athlete, I was willing to give my entire body that day. Everything I had physically. Probably playing
Yep.
football, you're not going to die, but you'll do anything
Yeah,
to get to the ball,
100%.
for sure, for the people that you're with. And there's a lot to that community. It's interesting when people come to train with Rich and they ask Rich, give me some advice on how to be more competitive. And he now, because he understands the question, can say, hey, here's some things you can do. But he's trying to be less competitive, not more
Right.
competitive. That just pours out of his soul. So when someone asks that question, you're kind of like, well, you either have some of that or
Yeah.
you don't.
Yeah.
Although we can work at and,
right.
and
Manufacture a little bit of it.
yeah,
But you got to have that.
yeah.
There's something like you're saying that's born in you.
Yeah, you're not going to the CrossFit Games and you're not going to win if that's not part of how you're wired up. And it's important. And then we see CrossFit Games athletes who are physically capable of winning, but mindset-wise,
They don't.
they don't
yeah.
have that ability. There are cracks in the performance identity because of who they are as a person where power leaks out. And unless they work on that and get better at that, it ain't going to happen for them either, you know?
Yeah. I think it's really interesting too how like, I feel like I've heard you say a time or two, Rich, like, you know, like, so-and-so's it's just a regular person. And I think that's why so many people watching or supporting, whether it be sports or performances of any kind, think someone is a certain way, but behind the curtain, they are regular people, but they have to get to that point to be, you know what I mean? Like there's still people. It's just a difference of when you're performing or speaking or doing whatever you're doing, you know? Then people don't realize that if you haven't had to put yourself in that space.
Yeah, 100%. Like I always say that, like, that part of who we were designed to be, because I think that's born in us, and we've cultivated. It'll actually destroy you if you don't keep it connected to values. So my intensity and the things that I say and how I handle it, it's like that's my gift to the world when it's connected to values and who I've been created to be. And then if I do that in the wrong spaces, it just makes me a jerk. You know, it just makes me somebody who is a know-it-all, and telling the truth in the wrong spaces is not always the right thing. So you've got to be able to be intentional about it and know when it applies and know when it doesn't apply, and how to turn it on and how to turn it off. And
Good stuff.
Yeah, that's like just one of the most valuable. How do you articulate it again? What's the sentence of?
Who you be will destroy you. Who you were created to be will destroy you if it's not connected to values. Be values, talents, and purpose.
And it's usually like you have like this.
It's your greatest gift to the world.
Right.
It's your greatest gift to the world.
Your gift is like so close to like your darkest kind of whatever.
100%,
I don't know how to say it.
Anybody I've ever worked with, if they begin to talk about what their biggest problem is, somewhere, if that's all kind of cleaned up and connected to values, to their strongest beliefs, that's their gift. Like, to fight is one of my core values, and fighting got me thrown in jail and lost a scholarship. And like, to fight is not a bad thing. Just do it in the right space,
right,
for the right things.
Your greatest strength can be your greatest weakness if it's not connected to values.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
It's been really fun for me, and to be able to be around you guys and to get to watch, because my brain wants to think about all this. So to get to watch Rich and to understand that about his life, and literally now, from what it took to be an individual competitor to that total consuming thing, to go into a team where you didn't have to, you had to train just as hard, but you didn't have to think as hard. Yeah. You know, and there was space for other people in your life. Yep. And now to legacy, which is different. Now, what's the next part of your life? And then just to be able to watch you, you know, you're what you're doing now, from being an athlete to now Mayhem Missions and all of that, and the other things that you were created to be, not just the performance side of you. It's really interesting to watch people, and not everybody survives that curve.
No, so many, not even close.
Yeah.
It's one of the most difficult transitions they say athletes face.
Right.
Or anyone in that transition, I guess.
Yeah, it doesn't have to just be sports.
Yeah, no, for sure. Now we see some really good athletes all the time, whether it's a CrossFit athlete or a basketball player, or, man, they get caught. They had to find all of who they were with their performance identity, and then understand what the rest of that means personally, and they alienated the people around them, or they just end up, if they're executing in their personal world like they would in the performance world, then they're just an asshole. You know, it's just too rough, and it's too, sorry. Oh, okay.
She hears it all the time.
Oh.
I mean, I don't cuss.
Yeah.
Never.
Yeah. So, I mean, yeah.
Well, that's why it's so important to have good people in your life too. And some people can't choose that. Like Shaun White talked about that a long while back about losing gold. I guess he got silver. Or was it in like, I don't know where, if it was Sochi or where it was. And being like, I have no value, I have no worth. And then having to redirect and understand that. And I think some people, unfortunately, like if you're groomed as an athlete from the time you're this big and you don't have that support structure of a grounded human being to tell you, hey, like, you're the best, going to be the best in the world in this, and that's awesome, but you also have like value here. Some people don't have that. So how would you understand that transition? You know, you just get there and you're like, well, what now? You know,
Totally.
It happens all the time. I mean, people, they get divorced and lose relationships, and I'm in a space where that part of who I was really cost me a lot early in relationships, because I didn't understand it. I just knew it was coming out of the middle of me. It's who I was. I don't know how to stop it, you know?
Yeah.
We're at an hour.
Bingo.
All
Woo.
You got anything to say?
Oh,
Trice?
tell us, Trice.
Say
Trice
something?
man.
What's on his shirt?
Words of
PJ
wisdom.
Masks.
Oh.
Loves PJ
What?
masks.
Doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever.
I don't know
it's
what
a
those
show
are.
on Disney. It's Catboy, Gecko, and Owlette. And they're kids that fight crime in their pajamas
I love that.
Okay.
I love that.
at night.
Okay.
When do they sleep?
They don't need to sleep. They're kids.
When do they sleep?
Right.
Very
I know, but who is
astute
that?
comment.
I love that they fight at night.
In their pajamas.
When do
Yeah.
they
At
sleep?
night.
Like, we're
They
gonna
don't
go
sleep.
save the world.
Right on.
Gecko.
Gecko in their PJs. That's pretty
PJ
rad.
Masks. I don't know when they sleep.
What is it called? PJ what?
PJ Masks.
PJ Masks.
So if
When
anyone
do they
knows
sleep
when
if
they
they're
sleep,
fighting bad guys at night. When do they sleep? In their what? In their room?
oh, okay.
Touche.
Touche.
Yeah. He's like,
Try slam. Boom.
You know anything?
Ben, you gonna? Ow! Don't do that.
Any Ben Spearsies?
Yeah,
I
any
got nothing.
conspiracies? Is Amanda Bynes free yet?
Yeah. Did you
I
start a
haven't looked- I haven't
movement?
looked into it since I read the article, so I can't say. Don't know.
You could have started a mass movement on the podcast.
I know. I'll look into
Did
it.
you watch that Britney documentary or whatever?
No.
There's
I
apparently
did.
some Britney documentary.
Did you watch it?
What's it on?
Hillary did.
It's
Was it
on.
good?
I think it's on HBO. Or no, I don't know.
I won't get to watch
It's like
it, it's
just
on that.
45 minutes. It's like one episode of a
So
bunch of people.
they made a documentary just saying I was right. Is it?
Yeah, I mean
Yeah,
they
okay.
talk about it. Yeah.
Okay.
That's like what the whole context is of like her growing up really young and how her life started and then now where she's at now and her dad having control and all that stuff. So, you know everything, but if you want to refresh.
Yeah. No, sounds good.
You want to make sure they did it right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
I'll go
mean,
make sure they
I'm
got their
pretty
facts
sure
straight.
the people on there have been following it longer than maybe you have, like her disappearing off the scene, but maybe not.
I don't know. We'll see.
TBD.
Let me know,
Okay.
Yeah. Give Tasia
All right.
the deets when you find out.
please. All right, peace.
Peace.